Welcome everyone to this Webmaster's Helpdesk Hangout number 95. Today is the Friday 13th, 2014. Uh, let's start with a round of introduction. Go ahead, Barry. He's the first.
I'm the Doritos sponsor here, and I'm going to be talking about Doritos the whole entire time. Who's next? I don't know which order we're going in.
The Kowalk, I think his name is.
Her name. Yeah, I can't see.
This guy. Well, go ahead, Carrie, if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Carrie. I'm a community manager at Moz, and just here because Barry pinged me on Twitter.
Excellent. Michael?
Hey, it's Michael Klein. I'm the SEO analyst and account manager with Be Found Online here in Chicago.
Robert?
I'm Robert O'Haver with Internet Ad Pro. I've been in search engine consultant for about 10 years.
William Rock, Internet Marketing Geek. Yeah, that's all.
And me, I'm Wissam Denda from Daytona Beach, Florida, an international SEO consultant. So let's start with the biggest event happening this week, the SMX Advanced. What kind of nuggets you got from it, Barry? I know you hosted. Yeah, you know. Cool
We're on top of that one.
What happened there? I'll summarize the main points, and then we go into deeper stuff, I guess. Hold on a second. All right, so the Google spam algorithm, the payday loan algorithm, was pushed out yesterday, according to Matt Cutts, the version 3.0 of it. And we'll get into the details about what that means for 2.0 versus 3.0. Matt Cutts also said they have revised their reconsideration request rejection notices, specifically allowing Googlers to actually give more feedback on rejection notices. And on Monday, I actually have a copy of the latest rejection notice and how it looks. So on Monday, I'm going to be posting that. It's actually pretty cool. Other things out of XMX Advanced was Google My Business launched, which is pretty cool. And let me see. What else came out of that comp? Also, this meta filter stuff, where there was an update on November 17, 2012, 1.5 years ago, and Google wouldn't confirm it, and Google's Matt Cutts said more things about that, things that I misinterpreted. And then some other things that I didn't cover that I think would be cool to talk about. Sorry? Things that so specifically, Google's Matt Cutts said that Dwayne Forrester of Bing, when he wrote about how link building and stuff like that, and talking about link building and whatever, he said Dwayne took his post a little bit too far, which is cool to say. But I think Matt really agrees with Dwayne. Anyway, I don't know, we can go into that later. Matt Cutts explained why they use a 302 versus a 301 in the documentation for specifically around, I forgot a certain what was it about?
It's the moving the website from mobile to, you have the M dot to the responsive one if you have.
So there's a big question, why not say 301? And he said it's so you could potentially undo it.
I love how he interacts with you.
Thank you. And two more things. Payday Loan Out Part A, the one that launched 2 weeks ago, called 2.0, actually had incorporated some negative SEO factors. And the final thing he mentioned that I didn't really discuss is Google is also part of his team. 1 or 2 people part of his team. He didn't say, he said 1 or 2 people part of his team are looking into making the YouTube search results less spammy, because right now they're very spammy. So those are the main points that came out of XMX West, Advanced, which is the
Yeah. And I think did you host like one of the sessions for Miley?
I
Yeah.
did.
Probably she also provided some cool tips. Because she did in 2013, I remember.
So she didn't announce anything new. She was supposed to, I believe, but they announced two things that she wanted to announce before the conference. They announced it, specifically around the fetch and render feature in Webmaster Tools, which we discussed previously, and also around the site move stuff, the new documentation. So all that stuff isn't new, but she obviously went into it in a lot more detail. And I kept giving her weird looks while she was talking just to distract her a little bit. So, but that was fun. And Eric, she was on two of my panels, and Eric was on one of the panels that I think he's flying back now. So Eric's not on the show now this week. But it was good. It was a good overall session we had. On Eric's panel, we talked about advanced SEO topics, where Eric talked about AJAX issues. Miley talked about HTTPS as well as JavaScript issues. And Bill Hunt, who's been in the industry probably longer than anybody in this here, had talked about a lot of issues regarding large sites, canonicals, and webmaster indexing issues and crawl efficiency and stuff like that. And then we also had another panel about mobile SEO advanced topics, and we had Miley talk about a lot of things in that area, as well as Cindy Crum, and also two speakers, one from Cavario, Michael Martin, and also Jim Yu from Bright Edge, and really cool data on about does having a responsive site versus a dynamic rendering site versus a MDOT site actually make a difference in terms of rankings and stuff like that. And some of the results are pretty interesting and convincing, which I'll let them share later, probably in the next week or so. But I don't want to take up the whole entire chat, so feel free to go ahead and...
Did you promote this show when you were there?
Which show? This show?
Yes.
Well, actually, Eric did. He did his presentation, so it was good.
Oh, see, there you go.
Thanks for recap those.
All right, that's great.
Yeah.
So I mean, guys, which topic you would like to go more in depth with it?
3.0.
Yeah.
The payday loan?
Reebok running shoes.
All right.
How many times can you write about tying your shoes?
How many different ways? Well, if you're an SEO,
Have you seen that video?
number. I mean, you know.
Have you seen that video with the mate when he gets pissed off and he says, "How many times can you write this?" You know, and he was talking about the articles.
Huh?
Well, so 3.0 came in, and so I see a difference. Some big impact there, but for some reason, it's the spammy sites that are on the first page right now.
You see a difference, or you don't see a difference?
I see a difference now, like that there's a movement as opposed to 2 weeks ago. I mean, I see a major movement now. Remember last week I said I see everything coming back in reverse to where it's supposed to be. Now it's the opposite.
And what topic queries you were doing?
Well, you know the main queries that I have, like there's 200 of them, and I just know which ones, like the major, like when there's major, you know, algos like this, I just take the top 10 queries and I just go ahead and put it through. And wow.
I think wasn't the 3.0 payday loan out there we're talking about?
But he said it's. I mean, he said it was overall, right? Like it's going to be. I don't think it's such, right? I mean, it's not overall payday, right? It's not just payday loans. It's
spammy queries, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the payday loan specifically.
Yeah.
Which is spammy queries. For some reason, Danny Sullivan named it the payday loan algorithm. Google actually originally named it like the spammy types of website query, where it's sites that go after more spammy topics like specifically payday loans, Viagra. The PPC.
Okay, but I go to other industries like the electronic industries, you know, like
this didn't touch that.
Big industries, and I see a lot of movement. There's a massive.
This didn't touch that.
Yeah.
Well,
you're making it up. It's all in your head.
I'm making it up.
According to Matt Cutts, you're making it up. 200. Maybe you're hit by some unconfirmed penalty.
If you can't believe Matt, who can you believe?
Barry Schwartz.
No, you can't blame me either.
You heard it
I'm
here
other
first.
people. So technically what you're seeing is basically not what Matt announced, although there might be some ripple effect on that. But everybody I've been tracking in the payday loan or spammy categories,
What are they saying?
they're saying absolutely nothing. Like nothing happened.
Hmm.
So either it's still rolling out and people haven't noticed yet, or they pulled it back and they didn't do it. I tried to get something from Matt Cutts on that, but he didn't respond to me yet.
I have a question. I think probably away from the payday loan stuff, but in the Q&A, I think Danny Sullivan mentioned about when in Google Webmaster Tool the search queries data will be 1 year. I didn't know what the answer was for that specific question.
Oh, so basically a year ago, he promised us that he'll give us a full year's data, and Danny's like, "Where is it?" And Matt Cutts is like, "I don't know yet. I don't know." Basically, he's like, "Just set a reminder to download it every 90 days." Use Google Calendar to remind you to download it every 90 days. So that's the answer. Nothing out yet.
Uh-huh.
So
Interesting.
I think there will be more movement on the weekend. You
I
love
don't know.
Sunday. You're saying Sunday is the best.
I don't know. I'll keep track of it, and if I'm looking at the different Black Hat forums, I haven't seen any, chatter really even all about it. Usually, you see people complaining. So, the difference between 2.0 of the payday loan algorithm and 3.0 of the payday loan algorithm is Matt Cutts said 2.0 affected spammy sites, and 3.0 affected spammy queries.
Mm-hmm.
And only the person in this chat that actually understands what that means is Sash. Go ahead and explain.
I'm not saying a word.
Not saying a word.
Anybody want to volunteer an answer on what they mean?
Sites might be links. Queries might be, different queries like porn, pills, payday loans,
Viagra.
yeah.
Stuffs.
So maybe, yeah. I don't know. Sash knows more. Always knows more.
Yeah, but I don't want the visit from the serious gentleman in the black automobile, so I'm gonna stay quiet.
Hi, we're from Black Hat Forums. How are you today?
Let's see.
I mean, it could be all sorts of things, spammy anchor texts. I mean, it's just right now. It's to the point where what's happening here is we're basically completely confused. I mean, it's a massive, this is now confusion, and that's the whole point, is to confuse us as SEOs totally. So we won't be able to keep track of all this.
And the thing is, didn't he actually provide more insights to Panda 4.0, Barry?
Did he provide more insight into Panda 4.0?
Yeah, like insights, more details, or based on the questions that he got from the audience, he probably added more, clarifications to it or something like that.
I didn't hear any more clarification about Panda 4.0. Did you see stuff on Twitter about that?
No, just probably, I have an article over here. It's like maybe they talked about it, so I asked you in case.
I actually was going to bring that up. I like that. I read that article. It was on Search Engine Land this morning. The one about the
Redefining
signals. Yeah. Redefining the signals. Here, I'll post it to the chat in a second.
Yeah, but there's nothing coming out of XMX on that, from what I understand.
Yeah, but just.
What was your favorite part of that article?
I don't read it.
So if nobody read it, then read it.
There's so many things we need to read on a daily basis besides SEOroundtable.com.
Like what?
No, there's none. Sorry.
Moz is a good resource. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's all right.
Why don't we have like Rand Fishkin as a guest here?
We should.
Sure, if you ask him, he'd probably do it if he had time.
Yeah. So go ahead, Barry.
You should ask him.
Use the address book.
I remember Rand before he was Rand.
Yeah. It's on your Wikipedia.
Is it?
Yeah, well, where you guys were you giving an interview or something like that? I don't know.
Oh, that was at.
You should remove that. You should remove that. You have, other photos of yourself.
I can't touch it. I'll get in trouble.
No, you won't.
Yep.
I can do it for you.
You look at the chat on the talk page on that Wikipedia post of mine. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I remember that.
I can update it for you. No problem.
Just take a look at the talk first before you start updating it. Yeah. All right. So should we talk more about payday loan, or should we move on to something else?
So what if you had opportunity to get out of that payday loan opportunity that's not just necessarily a payday loan update, it's basically scanning queries that are just top ranked keywords that are at jeopardy. Kind of like Brute was talking about, we have keywords that are at jeopardy. He monitors up to 200 keywords.
Yeah.
The whole thing is going long tail. I mean, yeah, you're gonna stay up for your top keywords, but are those top keywords actually bringing you conversions? That's where it's going to come down to your analytics and those funnels and say, okay, are these really worth me spending this much money in paid advertising as well as my opportunity for organic, and then change that into a conversion A/B split testing campaign? I don't know, guys. Just an idea.
Well, I think Jackie knows the answer to that.
Oh, I just got on. No.
It was like, ask the person who just walked in mid-conversation.
I also did not read that article. Please don't ask me about it. But definitely feeling the wrath of Panda. That's for sure.
You are?
No.
You're feeling the wrath of Panda, you said?
Yeah, I definitely felt the wrath of Panda with this last update.
Where do you work? I'm just joking.
A new company, okay?
She used to work with Eric, by the way.
Dude, I was Eric's plebe.
Yeah.
He made me fetch his coffee every morning. I'm just kidding.
So how can we help you? I mean, I think there's an opportunity. If you've gotten hit by Panda, what got hit? How did you find out?
It's not her fault.
There's this cool tool. It's really cool. It's called Google Analytics. That showed me what pages got hit. I mean, it's pretty in Panda theme stuff that's like very repetitive, kind of like much older content, like really outdated content from like 2008, 2010 that had been ranking for like years and then just got slapped. Everyone's like, oh my god, what happened? But like it was really obvious. Like when you looked at it, those pictures were terrible. The links were all broken. It makes sense to me why they were hit. There was no surprises there.
So it was on a page level, not site level, right?
Yeah, it was page level.
Okay.
It was a site that had been hit like multiple times though by Panda in the past. It doesn't help that like one of the girls is on a subdomain and then she like published this pretty much the same articles from the subdomain onto the main site and
Yeah.
8,000 tag pages, stuff like that. It's fun.
On that note,
how about the World Cup?
Yeah,
Go Germany. Good game, man. Germany.
Let's talk about metafilter. I think that's interesting. I think the whole metafilter thing is very, very, very interesting.
Yep.
Okay, good. That was nice talking about it. I guess I just summarize it and we'll talk about it.
When are you gonna release the video first?
I really want that video out. I don't know. Somebody at Third Door Media, Search Marketing Expo, Search Engine Land has to do it, and since I don't have access to it, it would have been done 2 days ago.
Search engine.
Some history. So Metafilter got nailed by a November 17, 2012 update that Google specifically did not confirm. They didn't outright deny it. They just said they do 500 changes per day or per year or whatever. And Metafilter got hit by that. A lot of other sites, specifically in the forum space, got hit by that as well on that date. Google now confirmed it a year and a half later, after Metafilter went ahead and made a big stink about it. Matt Cutts talked about it at XMX. I thought Matt Cutts basically said that he was working with the founder of Metafilter to correct the issue, I took that to mean they were having email conversations, which they were. They were having other conversations, which they were, but I thought that meant that Google was giving Metafilter specific advice as to what to make changes on their website to improve it, like they were doing with Panda, like telling people, you need quality. With Penguin, you have to do links. So I thought they were giving specific advice to Metafilter in terms of, you got to fix X, Y, Z, and then come back. I was wrong. I lied to everybody. Google did not give any advice to Metafilter's founder. They were actually making changes internally to the algorithm that specifically hit Metafilter to try to give Metafilter a boost or remove them from this algorithm or penalty, whatever you want to call it. That being said, Matt Cutts basically said in the next few weeks to months, in that range, you'll see an update that will give Metafilter their rankings back for the most part. And I suspect it will actually have a positive impact on a number of sites that actually were initially impacted on November 17, 2012. So the interesting part is, one is they won't tell us what this algorithm is. They said it's not Panda, it's not Penguin. They won't tell us what it is. They won't tell any webmaster how to what?
Orca. Telling you.
Okay.
Nobody believes me.
Anyways, Barry, I'm working on it.
Anyway, so they won't say, and because of that, I got annoyed. I think, now that it's out, you should at least tell people who are hit by it what could they do to improve their websites.
True.
They could be as what's it called? It could be as generic as they did with Panda when they said you have to have better quality, and it could be as specific as they did with Penguin when it talks about links. It could be something else. It could be like, I don't know, they went after low quality forums, stuff like that. And the way to make your forums better is to do X, Y, and Z. But they haven't, and I think that's not right. But anyway, we'll see what happens in the next few weeks to months with Metafilter, which I'm tracking very closely, and we'll see if there's any change in their rankings. Now I'm going to open it up to the thing. I guess I should ask a question. One is, I guess, anybody here have any... What?
And why, I mean, they need to do a change to their algorithm because of Metafilter. What about all the small businesses that got affected because of Penguin? Well...
They are making changes to the Penguin algorithm and to the Panda algorithms and stuff like that.
I mean, Panda, they did when they actually made it a little bit softer with the last 4.0. But for the Penguin, why they're not running it? Just doing refresh without any update. Just refresh so the people that get cut up to it actually get out of it or something.
Right. So we don't know. They might have made updates to this algorithm. We don't know anything about it. There's lots of unconfirmed updates that I report that Mozcast has showed major traffic fluctuations for, that Google has denied or not confirmed. So we don't know if that was related to it. Probably not, because Metafilter didn't see anything. It doesn't mean anything really. That being said, it would be nice to have some specific advice as to what generic changes you should make to your website to come out of that and any other ones.
Don't you think, like, for example, you should come to one of the John Mueller's Hangout and actually tell him, this is my site, what should I do to fix it? And your site will be metafilter.com.
Or Cars. What was that site, the famous one? Something with cars. That guy kept on coming. Well, there's another person that's still there.
Carbohydrate.com.
Yeah, Gary can't get his site still. It's like almost a year and a half or something.
Right. So.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, the main questions out of this Metafilter thing is, one is we like to see that, and two is, I would love to see what he actually said about that and stuff. The question is to you guys: anybody here have a site that was hit on November 17, 2012?
November 17.
No.
I'll check right now.
Hold up.
No.
No.
It's actually not my memory.
That fast?
Well, up here, you're like 1 second. You have something on the ceiling?
Well, I don't have any existing clients that I know for a fact, and I'm wondering who came in around about that time who got hit, and I can't recall anybody immediately. So no.
So I know a bunch of sites that got hit on that date, mostly forum related, or discussion QA related types of websites. And that's why we all assumed it was a Panda update.
Because of quality, yeah.
Yeah.
I know all hell broke loose in the Webmaster Central forum, so I can easily find a bunch, I suppose, in the archives, but I can't individually recall any at the moment.
Right.
Like basically, I remember asking John one time, John, how many times can a site get out of a penalty? He says there isn't. Like, I mean, you can just get out of penalties all the time. So you know what I mean? If you spam the first time, second time, third time, there is no such thing. There's no like 3 strikes you're out. So people are still not aware that the first penalty they like panic, go crazy like on the forums and stuff.
Well, there's two different types of penalties. One is a manual action, which is a real penalty, and there's algorithms that have a negative impact on your website that's not a penalty.
Right.
And some penalties take years to get out of, like the one we're talking about right now. It's at least 1.5 years since it ran, and sites are still impacted by it. Some penalties or algorithms happen every few weeks, and some are happening every single day. So some you have to be concerned about more than others. Like if you get hit by Panda and Penguin, I wouldn't even try fixing it. I'd just like throw away my website and start again. Unless you're, what's it called? What do you call yourselves? A penalty, or what's your title?
A disaster recovery specialist?
Yeah, disaster recovery specialist.
Search scientist specialist.
It can take a long time to recover from a Penguin penalty, and you're at the mercy of waiting for that thing to run. You can't just wait a year for.
I'd rather tackle an outright manual link action than Penguin, because with Penguin, as you said, the time frame involved can be,
Yeah.
But don't you think like a manual, it's worse in Google's eyes than an actual algorithmic one? So.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say it takes a while to build trust again after a manual action has been lifted.
How long would you say approximately, or you can't disclose that by law or the black
No,
card?
I mean that's totally me and my personal experience, and I found that it can take up to a year before you're taken seriously again, depending on who you are. I mean, the bigger ones, if you're talking really huge, probably longer. But I mean, I've tackled some pretty substantial ones, and
Wait, so you're talking about manual actions. Only manual actions.
I'm talking manual actions at the moment. That's it.
So when the manual action is revoked,
the period to rebuild trust, basically.
So when the manual action is revoked, Google makes it clear that when a manual action is revoked, if there's nothing else affecting the website, you are set. You're good to go. You're back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not.
You try and convince me that that's the case with a link penalty. I mean, if it's content, if it's outbound links, if it's what have you, that's cool. That's easy. I mean, you'll tackle those with a blindfold and both hands behind your back, if you know the Webmaster guidelines. The tricky ones are the link actions, and once those are lifted, you still got an uphill struggle on your hand.
Yeah, it's because you don't have links. So all you got to do is go buy links again.
Oh yeah, well, if you buy more links, absolutely, that's the way forward. Totally. Hey, we had one of those in the forum, I don't know, about 6 months ago, came in, and between us, we ended up getting the manual link action lifted, and 3 months later, he got a new one because he just started all over again. And it's like, you, sir, may as well throw your domain away and start fresh because you are cooked.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not a trust, because Google trusted something, they no longer trust it. You remove the things they trusted, so now you got to build more trust. It's not like they still don't trust you. They trust you now, but they trust you where you should be trusted.
It's a fairly... it's a fairly complicated kind of affair.
Right.
Yeah. I've only had one. I mean, just to jump in, I've only had one site that's ever like really like immediately rebounded in any way from a penalty being revoked, and that was what happened last week alongside, or 2 weeks ago, alongside some of the Panda and algorithmic stuff that was happening. So, yeah, I agree. It takes a long time to come back after those link related penalties.
Okay.
So
Someone gone very quiet. We saw him say something.
something. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to actually find a site that either got benefited or got hit with the November 2012. Probably have found a half a site, but no, can't find none with all these profiles that I have under my name. Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
Do you have examples like of sites that went down?
Metafilter.
Yeah, other
Yeah,
than Metafilter.
Was Metafilter a forum site?
What's going on with eBay, by the way?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Metafilter is one of the oldest Q&A forum sites. Yeah. In terms of eBay, I could be putting words in Matt Cutz's mouth again, which I'm good at doing. But I believe this whole reconsideration request, detailed reconsideration requesting they announced at XMX Advanced was specifically for eBay, in terms of giving better responses. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, I could be wrong. I'm putting words in his mouth and whatever, but
So it was a manual.
I think it was manual. Yeah. I mean, I have sources that I could trust that are pretty confident that it's manual.
Allegedly.
It was manual. I'm just saying, yeah, it was manual.
That's a great word, that.
100%
How are you
manual.
guys doing today?
What's up, Chad? Hey,
I have some
anyone?
questions if you stuff.
I think Google is immoral.
I don't want to talk about that. I mean, we can't talk
That's
about
Josh's signature. I think you should
I've
be
said enough
watching
about that already.
Yeah, but let's not talk about it. That's it.
It's my ringtone.
That's your ringtone.
I do agree. It's not.
I mean, I think Josh might be one of the best people to ask about the payday loan 3.0 because he actually monitors a lot that kind of field. So
He doesn't want to be the poster boy for that, though.
Yeah, but it's just a question.
Have you seen anything in that field, in the payday loan? I haven't seen anybody complain that in the spammy query face area on payday loans yet.
One of my clients was actually released on May 16th, which according to Dr. Pete was the payday loan date.
Yeah, but dude, we don't want to know about your clients getting out of jail. What about the sites?
Well, my point is that he was originally hit by Penguin, and he was released on the payday loans date. So I tweeted that to Danny Sullivan to ask Matt at the UNA, but I don't think it ever got asked, but I haven't seen the video yet.
So, but you didn't see anything specific around yesterday in terms of payday loan 3.0?
Yesterday? No, I haven't seen anything yesterday. I don't think they've actually released it yet. Has Searchmetrics reported any shift, or?
It's too early for Searchmetrics. Searchmetrics wouldn't show it until Sunday.
Right.
So.
Right.
Like when I start checking it, then it's all going down. You know, when I see my stuff, like when I see certain things, you know, the certain keywords that I was talking about, and I can see and then the aftermath happens like 2 days, 3 days after. Usually, that's the way to. I mean, I even pinged you sometimes, Barry, right?
Yeah.
Are you working from Google's offices or something? We don't know.
Because I usually, after they would announce an algorithm update, usually see a lot of chatter in the forums.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything about this payday loan algorithm. Yesterday, at least.
Probably in the afternoon today at 3 or 4 o'clock, they would say, we're launching it now. Type of dealing.
That would be characteristic.
William sees things in the forums.
Or they're going to wait the long 4th of July holiday weekend and update then.
Boy.
Yeah, that might
4th
be
of
it.
July is on a Friday this year.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
That
this is,
could work.
Matt Cutts said last night at 4:40 p.m. that it's rolling out. It doesn't take that long to roll out. So
Okay.
again, interesting. So nobody saw anything about that, but he did release, he did announce that there's new reconsideration requests that are more moral because Google's actually giving more specific advice as to why your site was actually hit by a specific manual action. So these new ones actually have a box that says specific advice from a Googler. And I'm going to share a screenshot of it on Monday. I got a screenshot just a couple hours ago.
Oh, that's nice.
Let me just see.
Share screen. You never share screen.
So first on Webmaster Helpdesk Hangout.
It's going to say a note from your viewer from Google, and it's going to specifically give you specific advice written in English, not just like these templated stuff. So that's going to be nice to see.
Yeah, that will help a lot. Wow, that's very good.
Yeah.
That is an improvement. That's impressive, yeah.
What else?
And I think today I got my first email from my business account manager. So that's nice. I mean, and she was really quick, replying back to my emails and all that problem. So.
It seems like somebody bugging Google to be.
Sorry, what?
You're breaking up, man.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
I said it seems like someone bugging Google to be nicer might have worked.
Who is that?
I don't know. I don't know. Many people actually. Many people.
Well, let's just hope they don't defranchise anybody anymore.
Well, they tried.
Okay. Yeah, so that's good. More transparency. I mean, compared to where it was even 5 years ago to where it is now,
Yeah.
it's much better, but the more we learn, the more we need more and more and more. The more we know, the more we want, which makes sense. So as we dig deeper into Google's things, it's like, all right, now that we know this, what do these 5 other things mean? And that's what the issue is, I think. Yeah. So what else do we have to talk about here? Anybody here have a site with 125 URLs on it? 125 trillion URLs.
No.
Trillion.
But Bing is able to index that, right? Or Yahoo.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Oh, I think one of the best blog posts, I think it was posted by a software engineer on Pinterest, which she laid out how she created that specific sitemap files for all Pinterest user accounts. It's pretty smart and interesting too.
Crazy.
And you're talking Pinterest, I think the same recommendations on the Bing Webmaster Tool blog. Josh,
So,
you had a question?
Google's Gay Pride banner is live in search results, but other holidays that you keep on mentioning all the time, Barry, sometimes they kind of miss on that.
No, they don't. They do them. They get the holidays.
No, they miss certain ones, right? That you can see how they are, and I mean the kind of stuff they like, and from the whole doodle thing.
I don't know.
Can you, Josh, can you ask your question if you want?
Yeah, sure. What do you guys think about task completion as a ranking factor? Not user engagement per se, but task completion. So let me give you an example. Miley Oye talks about this a lot. So, presumably on a sign-up page, the user is supposed to sign up. Presumably on an information page, they're supposed to be informed. Presumably on a purchase And Miley Oye was talking about task completion. They're tracking task completion for mobile rankings. This was back at XMS West. But I understand she was also talking about it at XMX Advanced a bit. So what were you guys thinking? What do you guys think about task completion for desktop rankings?
So Danny Sullivan actually specifically called out Matt Cutts on that. Matt Cutts is like, you guys got to think about, make sure your forms do autocompletes, make sure your credit card thing that you maybe use Google Wallet, just to make it easier for people on mobile or desktop to fill out and complete tasks, which is what you're talking about. And Danny's like, all right, does that help with your rankings? And Matt Cutts is like, it doesn't matter. It helps with the user experience. Like Danny's like, we're SEOs. Does it help with the rankings? And he said, no, it doesn't. At least he wouldn't admit it. He said in the future, maybe, but he wouldn't say it helped or did not help with rankings. He said it's good for the user, and he didn't want to get into rankings, which, again, I don't think it has a direct impact on rankings. If it does, because then that opens a can of worms, as you can imagine.
And then people write like 100 articles, and then you don't know if it's true or not.
A task completion as in their search experience where, where there's the intent and the intent has been answered, or
where they go through a complete task, like a conversion or whatever it may be.
Oh.
Tracking how well your page allows for the task to be completed. So if it is a sign-up page, presumably the sign-up form should be front and center, should be fast, should be above the fold, these kinds of hypothetical things.
Okay.
So not only one, tracking whether the page is a good candidate to complete that task, but then two, also, presumably, whether or not a certain percentage of users have completed that task, or they bounced back and went to some other site that allowed them to complete the task better. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are.
Yeah, so Danny Sullivan was really grilling Matt Cutts on this. He was like grilling him big time on task completion, user engagement, all this type of stuff, and even like Google Plus stuff, and you know how he goes after Matt on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And bottom line is Matt Cutts said no, we don't. It doesn't mean we won't. We just don't right now. It doesn't mean we won't. I think Matt Cutts hates that type of stuff. Hates looking at user engagement factors as a ranking factor because it's so easy to spam, direct hit, and all these other search engines that I've tried in the past. So I think him being old school, thinking back at those days, like, oh, if we released this and somebody found out, it would just be a spam zone.
True.
And that's easy to do with task completion types of things. It's fairly easy to do in those areas. So I think that's his main concern. He didn't want to rule it out in the future, but he's basically said no. It's something they don't use in rankings right now.
But what about tracking whether the page would be, in theory, a good candidate for that task? So that's not throwing a bunch of users at a site, like micro workers or something like that. That's building a good page that would be a good candidate to complete that task.
And how do you define that?
Well, it would be different for each page, presumably. So a good information page, I don't know what that would be. A good blog page, I suppose. A good purchase page wouldn't have the sign-up button 10,000 pixels down and behind Windows, I guess, or something like that. I'm not really sure what all the different factors would be. I'm just wondering if those could be used. I mean, I'm wondering if that's what they mean when they're talking about making a good page. Because I didn't make up this task completion thing. Miley talks about this quite a bit.
Yeah, but Miley's interesting in that and I was on 2 panels with her, moderating her panels. She's interesting in that she will say things that she's not just on the SEO side or search side. She's
right.
She was involved with Google TV. She's involved with Google mobile stuff. She's involved in a lot of different projects at Google, and she's really a user experience type of person at Google with a lot of programming knowledge. So when she talks, it's really not. Most of the things she says is not even the rankings. So she was saying a lot of things. I'm like, you're talking to SEOs, like they're going to take that this is ranking stuff, and it's not. And she doesn't. And that's why a lot of clarification is needed. And I don't think when she says task completion, she's thinking about ranking. She's thinking about conversion.
It's the way she does it.
Second of all, the example what was that? The example you're describing about like putting the contact form, for instance, 10,000 pixels down. I mean, that's something that I would say is tackled by page layout algorithm
rather than anything else. So, you know.
Yeah, it could, whether it's tackled by this algorithm or that algorithm, it's impossible for us to say, but I wouldn't be surprised. Personally, I think that they are using some kind of logic like this, and I personally think it's part of Panda, but
it could be, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wish we knew more. I don't know. But, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we somebody called them out. Like, engagement's clearly written up in that Panda post by Google when people wanted more. It's all about engagement in that post.
Right.
But I don't know if they're looking at the algorithm looks at a specific type of page or the content of the page. And based on the content of the page, you're able to determine if there's going to be good engagement or not based off of how something's written. I don't know. I wish we knew. I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. It's a question how could they go ahead and write about user engagement and then have other factors completely off user engagement, as a ranking factor around that. I don't know.
I just look at the page rank, man. That's it. If it's page rank 8 or 9, then that's it.
Well, Moz ranking, what is that?
No, page rank.
I had another question for you guys. Has anybody seen this new advanced Fetches Googlebot?
Yeah, the one with the render?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it just render the page for you, or does it actually give you some other information?
No,
it renders the back end.
How fast and everything.
It tells you also, the main thing is that Google's proud about is that it tells you what you're blocking, what they can't see.
Yeah.
Right.
But they'll show you a picture of it. They'll show you a picture of the page, like the like the previews used to show.
Do you guys have any thoughts on how they might enhance that in the future? I didn't see the UNA, but I was getting the sense from all the comments made about it and the live tweeting about it that Matt was indicating that I was going to be enhanced in some way, or did I misread that?
I think
Fetches Googlebot. I said, watch the Fetches Googlebot. It's going to get enhanced more, and there's going to be more information.
No, I think he mentioned about the robot.txt feature that it's going to get an update to it, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
That's too bad, because that would be a great place for them to have in big red, just put big red around certain areas of the page. And don't say anything else. Just put big red around certain areas of the page, and you can make your own conclusions as to whether or not that's good or bad, or you should remove that or not. Or, speaking of particular page elements, like here's an autoplay movie with a big red thing around it. I wonder why they did that.
I think there's not exactly like that, but if you run your website through the page speed and you see the mobile section, it actually provides you recommendations for even, this is too small for the mobile, experience, increase that, or something like that.
Right,
There's a usability test.
Speaking of that, I was just on Page Insights yesterday, and we're trying to fix an actual Google Plus error, but it keeps on saying, can't remember right now, but something to do with the JavaScript or whatever. I mean, this is something I'm going to ask John either on Tuesday or something, but yeah, it's very upsetting sometimes with Page Insights, Like, not all the errors can be fixed. So what happens is, let's say if I fix that on Page Insights, and then I go to w3.org, the errors will not pass there anymore. Like, I can't have both worlds. So Page Insights, I don't think it's completely...
Who would benefit more, w3.org or Google?
Google Page Insights.
Yeah.
I was just going to say something like that.
World,
Yeah, it's important for you to optimize, the speed of the site is much better than, having an extra warning on your, validator.
But Josh, yeah, and also like the fetching, when we were talking with John a long time ago, and he was saying, and I asked him about, I think, how many times can you fetch? So if you fetch over, let's say, like 10, 12 times, is that considered spam? And he said, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 500 per day or something.
No, if you fetch to a certain point, it can trigger like that you're spamming or something like that. We need to ask him again.
I thought it's 500 only.
Ever?
500. In what? In the same same?
If John's watching, he can get in. I think he.
No, I mean I can drop out if he's here. I'd love him to answer.
Well, some people haven't said a word. Maybe we could just kick him out.
If John wants to join, here's another great thing he could clarify, because regarding JavaScript links passing equity, so this rumor came out of SMS Advanced, it was directly said, that JavaScript links do now pass equity, but John Mueller has specifically said in the past that only a proper anchor tag can pass link equity, can pass PageRank.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think that's true.
Well, I can see how it could be true, in that if your JavaScript has a document.write method that writes an anchor tag, and they read that, then yes, it can pass PageRank. But if it's, say, like an on-click event handler, that's not a proper anchor tag, even though it is functionally a link. They link it goes somewhere, right? So I'm wondering if that means that they're passing link equity to on-click event handlers now as well, or just document writing anchor tags, or like some kind of AJAX changing the HTML.
So I think the official Google thing is as long as they could see a URL in there, however they could see it. But now that they're really processing JavaScript pretty well these days,
yeah,
I don't see if they could, they get places they really shouldn't be going, and they want to get places they shouldn't be going, and they're asking you to not block stuff that you're blocking. So yeah, I mean, I even think like links that are not even visible in the code are being processed by Google soon or now. The question is, do they pass PageRank? I don't know. It probably doesn't matter as much, but
it would be good to know, though.
If you're trying to do some link cleanup, it could be very important to know, because a lot of spammy forums just make a JavaScript kind of on-click, and so presumably you don't have to worry about those.
Yeah.
But if you do have to worry about those, that can change things.
It's not even my brand or anything. I just go to, God forbid I leave a link or something, It's just, I think the forums need to get clarified again. I think Matt should do another video about them. Another video one more time about them.
Maybe someone should ask John Mueller instead. It'd probably be faster.
Now let's see if John will come along.
Yeah, you had nothing to do with that.
Me?
No, I think Barry.
I'm always in.
I didn't touch it. I didn't do anything. I don't know. I didn't kick anybody off.
So what do you think? Anything, I guess, from this point on till the end of the year? Some more excitement is coming?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, hell yeah.
So, Sasha, I have to ask you a blunt question.
Oh, dear. Go on.
This orca you keep talking about.
What about it?
Or do you know about some orca? And if so, how fast does it swim?
Orcas can actually swim exceedingly fast. Very, very fast. And they also dive deep to where you can't see them.
Vicious.
Oh, they are. I mean, you're living in the right part of the world. You're on Vancouver Island, right?
That's right, yeah.
And you should be familiar with them.
Oh, yeah.
Go have a
we see
look.
them all the time.
That's right. No, I used to live out there for 10 years. Orcas are cool.
Boy, Sash, you get around.
I
said you get around.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Still looking for a place to live. I'm like the SEO nomad at the moment.
Well, come on up to Victoria and we'll drink some beers.
That sounds like a plan.
Is it
Actually, I'm
time to
half.
start commissioning somebody to draw pictures of orcas with harpoons through them and stuff? I mean, is it time to start getting ranked on Google Images so that...
No, actually, that would be a really good plan.
I think he's being facetious. I don't think there's actually an orca algorithm.
Not yet.
I keep telling everyone it's coming. It's not here yet.
Oh, I see. You just want to be the one who names the next algo that comes out.
Well, maybe.
He's referring to his ex. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's it. You're so totally gonna get it.
So the next algo is Orca.
Well, they're not gonna name it Skunk, are they?
Well,
I don't know. I
like
think most of their algorithms stink, so they just might.
Something horse, you know.
So, Carrie, what's new at Moz?
We have a new office. We
Yeah,
moved
it's
in
pretty cool.
January.
Yeah.
We have the new landing pages report to help us not provided. We had a post on that this past week.
Yep.
That's really cool.
I really love the Just Discovered. You know, the Just Discovered's pretty cool. It helps me a lot.
And Fresh Web Explorer, where you can set up alerts too and have it email you
Yeah.
faster than Google Analytics or Google Alerts.
And did I read on Twitter you guys have another tool coming out that's pretty cool, or was that an old tweet?
When did you read it? If Rand was tweeting like Monday, that's what we released, was the landing page report with information on some keywords.
Right.
I'll drop the link in chat in just a moment.
Cool.
All right, Sash.
The way it's designed, I just still love. I'm so happy you guys haven't changed the main. You know, you changed the design here and there, but you left the main stuff all, you know, at the same place. You know, which is great in terms of architecture.
If John is waiting to get in, by the way, you might want to tell him the try again button doesn't work. You have to close the tab and re-click the link.
I don't know. Is he trying?
I think we're full,
Just-
right? 1, 2.
Just in case.
No, we got one left.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's watching it live.
I'm sure he is.
So any final thoughts, Barry?
On what?
You were at the conference. What other stuff happened there?
What other stuff happened there?
Matt hit somebody in the head with a hummingbird?
That was pretty entertaining. Yeah, he hit some people. One didn't expect it. Some poor, I don't know, some lady, I didn't see her. She got nailed by a hummingbird.
Matt said he likes to seek out evil and crush it and conquer it.
So yeah, he did say that. He did kind of like he wants to run for governor or something.
Man after my own heart.
Would that be considered a manual action?
I think he wants to get into politics, but like behind the scenes.
Well, he did intern at the NSA.
So he did say that. I mean, I always wonder one day when he's gonna he doesn't need the money. He just obviously doesn't need the money to work at Google anymore. I guess he just likes what he does. So I don't know. A lot of people in his position would have left a while ago.
Yeah.
I've read that Google HR somewhat is managing a team of volunteers for all of the people that were there pre-IPO because money just isn't going to motivate them. And I'd love to see a book on that someday from the HR perspective and how you do motivate and keep the employees when the money isn't the object of staying around.
Take a look at the example would be Vic. You know, Vic leaving. I'm sure he was providing you with money before he left. No.
He was post IPO, no?
Well, I think it's 3 o'clock now.
Yeah.
Been an hour.
I'm falling asleep. I apologize.
I need to go home. So thank you everyone for coming in, and hope to see you next week. Thank you. Have a great
All right.
weekend.
Take it easy,
Cheers.
guys. Bye for now.